All right, welcome everyone. This is the Viper Professional Training and Support webinar. Today's date is Wednesday, September the 7th, 2016. And the title of tonight's webinar is Training on New Features in Object Trader. And as everyone knows that's been to our webinars or our live trading room, everything that we say and do at Viper Trading Systems is for educational purposes only. Futures trading, Forex trading, any kind of financial instruments trading involves risk. Therefore, there's always risk of loss. You should only trade discretionary capital, and that is money that you can afford to lose. Nothing said in this webinar. Other webinars we might have, our live trading room, or anything else should never be construed as trading or investment advice. And as always, everyone does trade at their own sole discretion. Any questions on the disclaimer? If not, we're going to go ahead and get started. By the way, how many of you got your new scripts? We sent them out earlier, so be sure and check your email. You should have the exact same scripts that I've got. Got them? Good deal. Bunch of you typing in that you've got them. That's good. That's good. All right. Well, if anybody didn't, just let us know and we'll make sure you get them. But check your email first just to make sure, because they did go out to all members and should have them. Linda will be checking tonight to see who put them on. And then, of course, she can turn them on full time naturally, because they kind of go out for just a few days, almost like a trial, because we have to control, if somebody gives them to somebody else and things like that. So we're obviously, turning everybody on by their machine IDs and stuff like that. Okay. What I want to show you real quick though is we're going to start doing this more in the future. And if anybody has any trouble with this, I'll be more than happy to help you the first few times or anything like that. But if you'll go to the member area of Viper Trading Systems, you know how to get there, of course, by your last name and your email, and you're in the computer. And if anybody doesn't have their login, be sure and ask us for it, because this page is loaded with good information. I mean, this is where the pedal meets the metal, so to speak. This is actually where you can get your links for the week. We did go ahead and cancel Saturday's webinar. I have previous plans. I would normally do that in a heartbeat for Charles, but I've got actually an all-day event type deal that we're going to be doing on Saturday. And Charles has a funeral to go to. So, there won't be a webinar on Saturday. Okay? And but anyway, what I wanted to show you here is this template and workspace right here. Now, the workspace is only for a single monitor. If you've got more than one monitor, you can download this workspace, of course, and then you can move it wherever you want it, your charts and everything. But I'm going to keep the templates for both the webinar that you see every time I run the webinar, and also for the one that we use in the trading room, always on here. And the path is simple. You just go to your Documents folder, NinjaTrader 7, Templates, Chart, and then drop it in. Real easy to do. And if anybody has any problem, I'll be more than happy to help them. Okay, same thing with Workspace. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started here. I want to show everybody a couple of things that I've been asked. I want to go over, basically getting short, versus long when the trend is opposite. That's kind of critical. If you're going sideways, of course, you can do all the scalping you want, and you're more than likely going to run into here and there where you're going to have a losing trader or so, right? Peter, on your question, the template has not changed. The only difference in the template will simply be that we added the background colors where you can change them, but I basically defaulted it to where it looks about like it did before, with the opacity and stuff and the colors, but you're welcome to change those if you want. If you've got other customizations you want to keep, that's no problem at all. Okay, so the template that we've got on the website is good to go, or the one that you've more than likely got. Okay, but what I want to go over real quick, and I'm going to try not to give the answers as much as I'm going to try to ask people, where the trend changes on this chart. Okay, because without any other indicators and everything, you should be able to look at this chart right here. And I purposely did a lightning 3 and a lightning 4. Okay, now first off, you've got to figure out what direction it's going, right? And real quick, show of hands, what direction is this chart going? It's going up, right? Okay, so now when you draw lightning on your chart, let me tell you how the new lightning works, because the old lightning wasn't quite as good as this. You know, it worked, but it didn't work quite this well. Let's say that I want to start drawing my lightning right here, and I click, you know, my control key, and I can click it twice and actually get it like this. Okay, now when I look at this chart right here, you notice how each time this has to go from a yellow to a green. A yellow didn't go to this yellow, notice that? Went to the green. Then it goes to yellow, but it won't go again until it goes to green. Okay, yellow, then green, yellow, there's another yellow, it didn't stop there, it went for the green. Yellow next, and then green. So it has to go from yellow to green, and of course that's customizable, so if you don't have yours yellow and green, that's okay too. But see, I've got mine high dot and low dot, okay? And it has to go from a low dot to a high dot. It can't go from a low to a low or a high to a high, okay? And that's important in looking at your trends too, because looking at this chart right now, you know, I see that pretty much as my low, don't you? Yeah, we are. This is going to be on the new features on Object Trader, and it's also going to be some trading too, Greg. But I wanted to go over some things to make sure that, you know, when these markets start in the mornings and things like that, that people don't get on the wrong side of the trade. You got to really diagnose those charts just for a few minutes, okay? And to me now, I look at this right here and I see a double top, okay? That's all the information I've got on this chart right now, okay? I don't have price bars or anything like that on it, but I can clearly see that 1250.10 at this very moment is my low. So if I'm looking for a high, a low, a higher high, a higher low, a higher high, then wouldn't this be what I'd have to take out to change trends? Now, if this had actually done this, you know, let's say that instead of being here, we're way up here now. Let me change this color. We'll change it to a bright green, something that that's good enough. And I'll set it about a 5. Yeah, it's pretty good, huh? If it was doing this, then of course this would be your low. Okay, now this is pretty basic stuff, but believe me, I talk to so many people that just because a bar turns red, you know, newer people naturally and trialers and things like that, that they short, or they short below mid-band, or they box in and they short. Well, what if you were looking at this like right here and you box this in? Wouldn't you just go no lower than this? And if you expected a higher low than that, wouldn't it be even more like that, so you have nothing in that trade? You see what I mean? If you walked into the room like right now and you saw something like this, you know, would you short it, or would you think, well, you know what, this is stair-stepping up, so why would I want to short it? Okay, now I'll get rid of this one because this isn't real pricing here, but the rest of this is real pricing. Now, of course, you can also tell by putting our other indicators on and things like that of where these are too. But I want to show you some things later on, because I even traded TF later in the morning, and I want to show you a trade that did not get me short because I was not looking for a short, because I diagnosed my chart. Okay, our indicators did go short, by the way. So that would have told you immediately to look for a what? A white ellipse, right? The predictor. Okay, but the thing went like crazy after that straight up, and there was no reason to take that short instead. And I'm going to show you that on this chart as we trade this evening. Okay, everybody see what I'm talking about so far though? Just be sure and, you know, just quickly diagnose your chart, and then don't fall into these little traps where they just barely go below mid-band and then they pop, because by the time you hit the button, then they're retracing a little bit, and then you're getting scared that it is going the direction that you thought, and then you can get out of kilter. Okay, now I want to show you these predictors in just a few minutes and show you how you can make really good money trading them. And tonight we're going to go for Well, I called some trades in the room this morning, and I know a lot of you took those, but I also want to show you how you can just literally take 10 ticks on these predictors. And we'll do it with, well, since it's TF, $10 a tick, we'll do it with 2 contracts instead. That way nobody gets, scared that we're, down $350 or something like that. Okay? Right. So be sure and diagnose your chart. Right now, for instance, this is not your low. I mean, right as we speak right now, this is not your low because all they've done is double topped. We can go ahead and draw lightning 1 right here. Let me see if I can get to it. Can I get, oh, I don't even have lightning 1 on this chart. Duh. I put these charts earlier separately so you could see them. Let me just show you the lightning 4. And of course you can clearly see if you put your backspace on that this is an uptrend too, right? I mean, can't get any clearer than that. A high, a low, a higher low, at least now. We know for a fact that right there is our low. And until it takes that out, I'm pretty hesitant to short this because, we could easily come down and test this and still head up, right? Because we've got higher lows and higher highs. Okay, so I just wanted to show that. All right, let me then go to the actual chart. Bear with me a second. And let's look and see if we can get some trades. Okay, this isn't quite the time I get up, but around 7-ish, I'll be looking for a trade. So, well, we're looking right down here, aren't we? Right as we speak right now, we're looking right down here. At least at the moment, we are. Okay, so let's go ahead and put Object Trader on. And we're going to see, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to go in here and I'm going to change this for tonight, and we'll just simply put it as 2 quantity. We'll put it at targets of 10. Okay, that's all we really care about is 10. And we'll just go for 1 target. We don't care about this second one. So I'll just set this as my default for right now. And did I turn it on? Yeah, let's see. Yeah, it's on. All right, so we're going to go for 2 contracts. And we're going to simply go, if this hits this ellipse, this line, and bounces. Now, I look to the left to trade the right, so I'd also be looking right here. Everybody see why? Why would you be looking there? Because that's a support area that double topped up there, but you still have a nice little support area there, don't you? And that's what you got to look at. So let's see if we can get us a trade. I'll start this up. And like I say, we're not going to go for gusto trades until the 8:30 when I actually called that trade. But let's just see if we can get ahead of the game with Predictor. Got to get to Predictor or we're not going to take it. Can't see the mouse move? You should be able to. Everybody see the mouse move? Everybody see the mouse move? Hopefully. Okay, you can. All right. Sorry about that. Okay, so we're looking for this trade right down here or even here. Okay, so we're going to simply take this trade if it bounces a bar. Okay, so let's watch and see if it touches here. Like that, and bounces a bar, and I'm going to go up here and turn on my bar close. Leave it off for right now, but it's ready. See where bar close is turned on, but it's not active because that's long disabled and short disabled. Let's see if we can get something. And you notice that I'm not looking for shorts. And why are we not looking for shorts? Because we already diagnosed our chart. See if we can get that. We're going to go for 10 ticks. That's $200. And like I say, it's got to at least come within a tick or so of that line, and bar close back to the upside. Because our predictor is what we're going to shoot this off of. And then we're going to actually trade the predictor when it comes down to either the support levels or, because you got up already and you've diagnosed your chart and you said, you know what, we got a double top up here. This is where my low is, so that's pretty much support, isn't it? So that's what we're trading off of. See if we can get this. This is about 7:13 in the morning. This is about the time I start trading, usually get into my computer. Okay, I'm turning my bar close on. If it doesn't close, I won't get it. I also wanted to turn off this break-even trigger because we really just go, well, we're only going for 10 ticks anyway, so it won't ever trigger. Is it going to trigger? I like trading these predictors myself, because to me, for instance, boxing this in right here when I've got support right here, let's say if this was at the open or something, I don't really like that because I've only got that far to go. So could I get 5 ticks? Well, maybe. It looks like we're going to get it. Trying to take out support. And like I say, we're only going to go for 10 ticks. Let's just see if we can get ahead of the game. We did this in one other webinar and it worked out quite well. And in the next 30 minutes of the webinar, I will show exactly how to use the new tools and how to make some good trades. Okay, there's our trigger. We're in. Now I've got to at least get a little bit of a scalp before I move my stop. In other words, even though I'm not taking my coin, I still want it to at least give me a scalp. In other words, it's got to pop up some so that I know it's trying to, like that, for instance. Now I'd probably move my stop just like that with exit on close. Okay, let's see if we can get 10 ticks. Because if we do, we'll have $200. It looks like it's going to. Now this is about a site. There we go. Got 200. All right. Now, if this goes up, we don't really care. We're going to have to get another green predictor or change trends, one or the other, because we're going to just simply buy the green predictor. Okay. Looks like it's going up a little bit more, but let's see now. If it was to retrace, where would it retrace to? Well, let's let predictor tell us. Right now it's saying right here, because see it checked support, so it hadn't checked the top of the predictor. So let's put a line there. Let's see if we can get another trade. Whoa, that must have been some kind of opening or something. That would have been another trade right there. Let's see if we can get it down a little bit further, and we'll take this again if we can get it down on top of this same area again, or get another predictor. So we're looking for a trade predictor-wise. Now that would have been a good one, but evidently that popped. That would have been 10 ticks. I've got it going about 20 times, so that's probably why it popped. Because we can't run the webinar at normal speed, obviously, because it would take literally forever. See if we can get this. Well, predictor's down here, so we're not going to take it unless it at least gets down to predictor. $30 times. There we go. And we just got another 10 ticks. Okay. Now I'm going to turn it down a little bit because obviously that's getting closer to the open. Do you remember the trade that I called in the room at the open? Was this one right here. We got this trade. Remember it? Now what if you missed it right there? Isn't there another opportunity to get this trade? Prices passed vertically past the predictor, still good. You're talking about, well, this is the predictor right here. That's where you triggered it. See, now it hadn't made another one, so this one had really been hit one time, but that was also support, so that was a pretty easy no-brainer trade to begin with. And remember in the room this morning, I called that trade right there on that bar? We said we were getting in on the bar close because it just bounced off support. Okay, if a person didn't get it, then what you want to do is you want to wait for any kind of little pullback, which it already did it. See, it came to mid-band like that. Okay, but we're going to see if we can get in this trade anyway, but it looks like we're going to have a thrust and a retrace. So do I have stealth on here? Yeah, I've got stealth. Good. Stealth is a really good entry too, by the way, if you watch for that one. See if we can get something. Notice that we already got $400 though. You know, a lot of people, if you did that 5 times in a week, that would be $2,000, so that wouldn't be too shabby of a week, would it? Can you still take one off this predictor here? Oh, I already answered that, didn't I? Let's see. How do you know which bar is active on the bar close? The bar that's active, Pete, is always the one that closes. Okay, now this one, what I'm going to do, let's get rid of this. Since we got in, or we're going to get in late, I'm looking for a trade right across here. And what it's got to do is it's got to kind of pop up above it, pull back. Now that I would probably do also. See it right there? That little area right there? I think I'll grab that if it does get there. It's got to get at least to my line. Or it's going to have to pop up and pull back. See if we can get it. Now this one, since it's 8:30 in the morning, what we really want to do is we want to actually do, you know, a few contracts, obviously. So you do like 10 ticks there, 5 ticks here, just the normal setup. And I'd usually do probably 3. If that comes down to that line, I'll grab it. If it pops up above here, I'll grab it. If it comes back down and kisses right about this area right here. See if we can get it. Came really close to where I wanted it, but not quite. See that right there is where I wanted it. Little lightning swing. This is the one that ran this morning. Remember Charles saying how he wished he had gotten in Russell? Well, Russell was a runner today. And we got it right down here. But since we missed it, you know, as far as this webinar is concerned, we're going to look for another entry. And I believe we'll find it. Just got to get a little push first. And come back and kiss. Or if you want to, we can actually wait on a predictor. You want to just do that instead? You know, if it closed above the still, any kind of a pullback right here, I would more than likely get in this trade because it's inviting as it can be. It's above resistance. I'm going to go ahead and take it. All right, I'm going to get these out of the way. I'm going to show you the new indicator that's been added to Object Trader. Notice that we did change this to Trail 3, Trail 2, and then Trail 1. Okay, so Trail 1 is the same it's always been. Trail 2 is the same it's always been. We just added Trail 3, which is the bands. Okay, wouldn't you notice? Going to pull back a little bit. That's okay. Will still get us a good move. And I would be putting my stop just a little lower, right around mid-band, because we haven't got any kind of a scalp yet. Why did you just take that long? Because it broke that top. It didn't close, but I went ahead and took it. But I'd be looking for this trade right here, right there at that blue line is where I'd be looking for it, like that. See, that's awful close to where it's at. I mean, you know, for instance, if you didn't get it there, watch for it right here, turn on bar close. If it even gets close to that line, right there where it kind of busted out, turn on the bar close. Because it's going to do just like we always show in the oil trades in the morning. See, that's bouncing perfectly off my line. Usually, as a rule, what I do on a deal like that is I buy one and then I do like a bar close to buy the others. That way I get a little bit better feel. Of course, that can bite you sometimes too. You got to be careful. But what's our trend? Our trend's up. So we're looking for good trending trades. Now I'm going to show you all the feature add-ons that we've got, but I'll show you the trail stop first, because we took this trade and we called this trade this morning in the room, right there on that bar. Now with this new trail stop, if you want to, you know, if you want to try to take some coin, for instance, at the top and then like ride a runner, you certainly can do that. So we got to set at 5, 10, and 13 because we got that top there. And then this one, I just turn off, just turn it off. You still got 3 contracts on, but you got 2 targets. And then your next target, you're going to ride with your trail stop. Because remember, at 8:30 in the morning, that's when we get those good moves, if they're going to move. And keep in mind that as long as lightning is drawing on this chart to the upside, then I'm probably wanting to stay with this trade to begin with. Now, you don't have to close these out, by the way. Okay, if you want to, you know, just ride your runner, you can certainly do that. But keep in mind, any 12-tick pullback or so is $360. So you can take profit and be in the profit and just ride a runner. Okay, now let me show you how this new trail stop works, because I think it's awesome. Okay, you got to look at your chart and see what's happening at the given moment. Well, I see, gosh, why is that doing that? I see retracements coming all the way down to line 3. Okay, now we didn't get in here, so if we go to line 3, we're going to have a pretty good loss. Okay, so we've got to kind of look at it and see where it's going to be if it thrusts up. You know, in other words, like right now, see, even mid-band's trying to hold, see here? So what I'd be doing, thrust, retrace, thrust, I'd be using mid-band with the close of the bar. And the way you do that is you just simply hit trail 3, mid-band is line 4, and then you turn on your trail. Trail enabled, and engage your trail. And see, it'll pop right up to it. Okay? Now that trail will now ride with this trade. As long as I leave it there, it'll totally ride with this trade. I think I got this thing on minutes instead of, let me check that. No, it's on 4 range. That's good. It's on 4 range. We're good to go. It just looks like it should have turned blue to me by now, but maybe we just barely missed it. All right, notice how we're almost right back at our cost again. Well, we've already taken some pretty decent profit on those ellipse trades, so we're good. Now, I'd be putting my stop more than likely here if I was doing it manually. Everybody see that? Lightning swing? That's where your stop would be. But keep in mind that if you want to stay with these trades for runners, absolutely you could add here if you'd like to. Yeah, you could definitely do that if you wanted to. Now keep in mind that what happens at the open, you know, we may get stopped out on this trade very possibly because it looks to me like we got a lower top. Okay. And we've got 2 contracts left. So being right at the open, this would make me nervous because we actually did call this trade in the room this morning. Remember where we had this, didn't quite take out those tops. It wasn't a head and shoulders or anything like that. It was just a crummy way for Russell to act. And I would more than likely cover my trade, at least if it takes out that lightning swing. So I'd be ready to close it. You could take the money at 54, absolutely, because it did hit the predictor. Now, what we're looking at, though, is also keep in mind that you can get these runners at the 8:30 time, lots of times. Now, if we get stopped on this one, which it looks like we are going to, we haven't yet. Haven't been stopped yet. Now, I would definitely be, since that's a lightning swing and this is acting this funky, I'd probably put my stop right underneath there because that is the lightning swing. You don't have to use this particular indicator, and if you move it, it'll still remember this unless you disengage your trail. Okay, because I want it to do manually now because I've got a lightning stop. Now remember, if we get a predictor, we're going to trade again. Okay, see right now we're not getting a predictor just yet. We might get stopped out on this one. We'll find out. Until they break that 5420 area, they're pretty much going sideways. It's hard to watch a profit go 15 ticks back for me. Well, you know, that's one thing about it though, Greg. You've almost got to trust the lightning part of the indicators though, or you'll never get these longer runs. You know, now if this actually pops up and makes a lightning swing, you know, for instance, like it's trying to do, see how it's trying to break this little resistance right here? If it kind of pops up and then pulls back and then comes down through my lightning, I will kill the trade. We'll see what it does. And by the way, those predictors are good to take profit too. If you want to take your profit right there, you certainly can. I kind of like a runner, you know, first thing in the morning, because there's lots of times they'll run like a house of fire and you can get some pretty good trades, but you got to be willing to give up some. Now, you probably wouldn't want to carry more than one contract on it though, because 15 ticks is $300. We'll watch Power Meter and see what it does. Now, what would it take for you to get back in this trade though if we get stopped out? Is anybody looking at the chart to kind of see what's next? Because it's important to look at your charts to see what's next too. All right, lightning held again. You know, when they do this, it normally doesn't hold though. Let's see if they can take this out right here. If that closes above that, that'll be a lightning swing. Yeah, that's really, really, really good enough. So your stop would be right under here on your lightning. See why I picked that? Because it did a thrust, a retrace, thrust again, retrace, so you could take your out right here if it happens to close below it. We're not going to reverse it. And it looks like we're going to close. There we did. All right, now, where's your next trade on this chart? Because it's setting up right before your eyes. Isn't that a predictor? Still looking longs, right? That's our predictor. We touched our line. or within a tick of it or so, and we're going to take the first trade, and we called this trade in the room this morning. And now what I like to do, as usual, is get rid of a target. You can get rid of one totally if you want to. You've already been up here, so I'd probably try to go for this top. That's what we called in the room this morning. And your next one would be probably right across here because there's a swing looking to the left to trade the right. Right across there. It's good enough for me. Okay, and then you'd be getting 13 and 22. Let's see if we can get it. Now keep in mind that if you trade the aggressive way with these predictors, they'll give you your scalp. If you wait for it to box and things like that, you're going to lose on more than you're going to gain on. You've almost got to trade these pretty aggressively. Okay? Like see for instance where this one hit right here, just to give an example, if you were up at 2 o'clock in the morning and you got in on this bar, you know, they might have stopped you out if you had a 12 tick stop on that one, if you were aggressive on it. Let's see if we can get this trade going. Everybody see how to use the new trail stop though? It's pretty cool. Greg, when you were saying it's kind of hard to watch you go 15 ticks back, you know, the one thing about it though, with these thrusts and retraces, to ever get a move of any kind, they will retrace those 15 ticks. Now, I don't like to personally ride, you know, multiple contracts on that simply because just like this one here, you know, you could be up nicely and then all of a sudden you're back, you know, making a little bit, but you're not even at your first two trades. So we lost a little bit on that last one, but we're still up. So we're looking for what? 1254.30. We got a target up there and, well, you got a predictor right here. So we'll go for the predictor. Where would our stop be on this just as soon as it makes a lightning swing? I like to protect it, you know, a little bit right off the bat. Thrust, retrace, thrust, right? You could put your stop under here, okay? You could put your stop under here if it happens to take that out. Let's see, did your programmer say you could make the new entries on the lines? Well, Diane, I haven't been able to talk to him. He's been out of town again, but we will definitely be talking to him about that, plus the 2 rays that I want to get. You know, where you can do a double ray and actually use it like a box, where you'll be able to choose long outside, short outside, long inside, long out, you know, all of it, just like Object Traders Region. Okay, so let me ask you a quick question. While this is just getting started, where would you put your stop? Right now you have to put it here because they haven't made a lightning swing. See, until they close above this little area right across here, they really haven't made a lightning swing here. Now, once they close above that, they have. See, like that? Then you could actually do that. Okay? But be conscious of the fact that when you even use the micro lightning, they can take you out and go for a little deeper one and then leave you out of a 50 tick run. You know, but you want to take some profit fairly quick too. You know, for instance, you know, right now we're in the profit again. If this came back 10 ticks, we would be, you know, not near where we are now, right? But let's see if we can let it run. Now, if you really don't like going for a long shot type trade, this particular trailing stop probably won't be your thing if you're a little bit more of a scalper. Because, you know, when Charles, to give an example in the room, says, I'm going to put my stop at mid-band. Well, that's what he would be doing. He'd do this, turn on 4, turn on the engage the trail, and then you'd ride your runner. Okay, but if we come back to that stop and a exit on close, we could literally be back down to $150. But I kind of trust the software too because, you know, I'm in an uptrend. I've got a predictor that it just nailed. I've got a top up here, which we called in the room this morning. And that's how you get these, decent account P&Ls, especially when they come back and they give those kisses so that you can get in them. To give an example, like see how that came right down to really close to stealth right there? That would have been a good area to add. It came right on top of the previous swing right there. Everybody see it? Little lightning swing. I missed it because I've got this going like 10 times normal speed. Okay, but see, by looking at the chart right now, you wouldn't really want much tighter of a stop unless you're going to use these micro swings, which you can still do. Okay, but for the longer term runs at the open, this type of trading is not bad. Take most of your coins. See, now we're only in one. So we're only risking, well, yeah, we're risking 24 ticks. That's $240. Okay? But let's see if it goes ahead and thrusts up and see if we can get a little bit better trail stop, because that's what it was designed for also, to change on the fly. Now that's line 6 was taken out. Line 5 wasn't. So I'd probably right now go ahead and change that to line 5. Everybody see why? Because it's taken out line 6, even with the close of the bar. See, it touched that line? But it's not taking out line 5 on that little retrace right there, and it did do a lightning swing. So line 5 should work for us. We'll leave it there. See if we can get some run. And I'll show you how, if you'd like to, we're running right now. We're okay. We're using line 5 because that's where our swing's at. And like I said, you can manually move these stops also. But manually moving them won't let them trail automatically. This will trail automatically. If this pops up, we're going to get line 5 moving up. Let's see what it did. I'll go about 15 times normal speed. See, trail stops right now on line 5. Line 5 is getting ready to move up. See it? Moved up, moved up, moved up, moved up. See how that trail stop just runs beautifully there? It's following that exact area right there. Now, will we get stopped out? Looks like it. Ooh, maybe not. That's actually an entry for a another set of contracts. Did you see that? That was a beautiful entry for another set of contracts. See if it stays with us. See how that keeps adding to the P&L even with that one contract? So our line 5 stops in place, and we'll just ride the runner. Now line 5, by the way, is 6, 6, and 6 from that top. So that's 18 ticks. Okay? So each time this takes out this top, it's going to raise that line 5. Now look at it. It's actually trailing with line 2 now. See it? Or line 6, pardon me. So now you can change it to line 6. Everybody see that? See how it was taking it out but not 5? Now it's not taking out line 6. You thrust up, you retrace, you're okay. Line 6 should be okay for our trade. And see, that turned out to be a beautiful trade. And by the way, if you would have added 3 contracts here and taken them off here, you would have had another $400 about. Perfect entry. Right on the predictor. See if we're going to get taken out. Not yet. Now there's a lot of times, if you want to really be gutsy with these, See this line 6 right here that's holding? That's also a lightning swing. You can do something like that if you want to, because when they get overdone, that line 6 is a good area for it to come all the way back to mid-band and lower sometimes. And I would probably, yeah, I'd go exit on close, though. I wouldn't take a chance of it just wicking me in. Now, keep in mind, if you do this particular trade, we may not get it. We may just keep line 6 going. I don't remember what it did this morning, where we finally got out. But see how it's respecting line 6? Look how stealth wasn't even broken the whole time, except that one retrace right there. Let's see if we can get 10 if it breaks that. Bouncing off line 6. Now, one thing you want to be really careful of, and we've got this written in our book too, our trading manual. If you go from like 51 all the way to like 57, that's 60 ticks. On Russell, you expect lower than mid-band for a pullback. 100 ticks usually on oil, 80 to 100, but on Russell, 60. When it's trailing so well like that, you can use the new entries at lines to add on. Absolutely you can. Yeah, I've got it moving fairly quick, so I wasn't able to get that one. That was a perfect entry for adding on. Looks like we got stopped out. Just try and pretend ticks. Now, why'd that do that? Oh, because my trail, I didn't turn it off. See, that trail was still right there at 6. So let's go ahead and we'll short that again. But you definitely need to turn that trail off. Okay, we got our 10 ticks. Okay, now we expect what on this trade right here? What do y'all think? Let's diagnose it and look. Got our medium swing right here. This is actually our secondary swing. You got your full swing down here at 51.60. So if we're going to head up, we're looking for a phantom type trade, right? Yeah, I'd go with a phantom type trade on this particular one. Remember, when they go up 60, 70 ticks like that, that's phantom right there. Line 2 to line 0, line 2 to line 1 is your long. We're going to go for more than 10. We'll at least try to get to mid-band. Phantoms are mid-band trades. Everybody see why we didn't take that mid-band trade after that? Well, for one thing, mid-band never held to begin with. See down here? You can usually tell what they're doing if you look at, how far are they coming below mid-band, in the day that you're in. And they were coming below it a little bit. They haven't had a phantom trade yet, and that's what they just got. And we expected it to go below mid-band, so you would have boxed it in. You can even box it in right above there as far as that goes. See, like it's breaking that little box right there. We won't add 3, but we'll just try to get to mid-band. Now, when you get these pullbacks like this, you're kind of expecting it to go a little sideways, very possibly. Okay, we've had our phantom trade. Got a high here, a low here, and a much higher high here, so that's our medium swing. This is a higher low, so we expect a green ellipse, and we'll watch for one, see if we can get another trade. On the deeper retracement, how important is the ABC to have good entry? Well, you want an ABC most always on those, Carl. And to me, this did an A, a B, and we expected it to go lower the midband. So A, B, pretty much C when it went to the red bars. And you also expected another thing too, and that is what kind of retracements you're looking at. See, that was more than a 61. That was a pretty good retracement. But we expected it to go below midband at least, you know, into the phantom area. So we actually got the trade. Let's see if we can get another one. Got a blue predictor. We need a green one. Notice how that barely took out that low right there, even on what we call lightning 3. But keep in mind, you've got a green, a yellow. Green is all the way up here, so that yellow doesn't even count. Your medium trend's all the way down here, so we expect a higher low. Everybody see that? Because later on in the day, while I was trading Russell, that little area right there actually held. And if I remember right, Russell actually went to a red background and the magenta midband, but I knew not to take a short because why? Because I had a green, a yellow, a green way up here, a yellow, but I'd not had another green. See what I mean? So I wasn't looking for that. Let's see if we can get I don't know why that little dot's showing up there. See if we can get a green predictor. It's past 9 o'clock, so we're not looking for huge runs. We're looking for retracements. There's your predictor. There you go. Just fired the trade off the predictor. See if we can get 10 ticks. Looks like we're going to because you're getting a little higher lows and higher highs. Okay, now let's talk about, everybody knows how to use their trail stop now, right? Because your new indicator that's been added to Object Trader is trail 3. Looks like we're going to get it. And you can just simply turn it to whatever you want it to be. You can have it set for line 6, line 5, all the way 0 through 8. Okay, so you've got 9 different lines. You can start with 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. This is when it happened right here. See that low right there? Watch and see if this doesn't get a higher low than that. Support bounce, midband. Now why did I take a long there? Because that was my medium swing, and for all intents and purposes, this is still an uptrend. Everybody sees that, right? Because if you turn this to a black chart, let me see if I can get this real quick, like this one here. See where we're at right now. Let's just look at it. Look at that. High, low, higher high, higher low, not a higher high, higher low, not a higher high. And how does the thing draw? It goes from yellow to green, yellow to green. But when this isn't taken out, this is not your medium trend. Everybody see that? Now, it doesn't mean that you can't do some quick shorts on these. Don't get me wrong on that. You can still scalp. But what I'm talking about is trend. That is your trend right there. And they check those all the time. You can box them in, and I'll bet that thing went off to the moon. You want to see? I'll just speed it up to 500 times and just check it out. We're not going to trade it because it's going too fast. I want to show you how so many people get tricked into, going the wrong direction on a trade because they're not really looking at their charts. There's a good trade, by the way. Just missed it too fast 500 times. Everybody saw the trade though, right? Why was I getting ready to grab that? Well, you can't grab it if it's moving this quick. 500 times. But wasn't that a good trade? Right at your predictor, 10 ticks, 10 ticks. Oh, you took that this afternoon, Jonathan? Yeah, that turned out to be a very, very good trade. And what was the person looking for to begin with? Predictor trade. And let's go ahead and leave this on 500 and just see what the day ended up. Anybody trade Russell later on? Now, a question that I would ask anybody, unless you're scalping, why would you have gone short when this is what your overall chart looks like? Thrust, retrace, thrust, retrace, right? That little area right there held like crazy, and even this area held right here, and they just bounced right off of it. Now, to be safe on it, of course, you could have done it like this. You could have drawn you a little trend line. Once you got the little retrace like that, and you could have taken it there. And you think, well, wait a minute, that background's red and everything, but didn't we diagnose our chart? Still an uptrend. That's where these backgrounds can change because they're so quick to change that so we can get some really good trades, but you've also got to be careful of them. Because, for instance, if this was a real short, it should have gone down, should have come back up and kissed resistance, and then rolled over. And it didn't do that. It just bounced off support. And what did it take to actually change it back to green? It stayed red for a while. Because once it turns red, it's got to know that it's really going up before it'll turn green again. Okay, so just because this was red would not have been a reason to take that predictor right there, being white, because this was still an uptrend. Just remember, power meter will kind of keep you on top of the trade. Plus, if you diagnose your chart, you're also going to see it. Okay, so I went over how to use the Trail 3. That's real easy to use. And then be sure, and if you like different backgrounds and things like that, we've got the new background now. You can choose any color you want. Okay, and your opacity. I just happened to choose what we had before. It's close anyway. About 80% opacity, medium sea green, 60% on the downtrend red. That's this one right here. And then yellow, 20. That's this one right here, the transition background. And then red is this one right here at 20. That's the same red as this one, just different opacity. But if you do like a blue or something like that, have fun. There's all kinds of colors to choose from. You can choose anything you want. It'll definitely change the chart. See there? That's pretty wild. Okay, but you can do anything you want. And also, your power display, we have added the fonts. If you go to power display, you'll see that you've got fonts in here. So if you happen to have something that's not registering in the little box, you can either change the size of the box and stay with the same ratio, 4:1. In other words, if you went to like 250, then you'd want to, or 240, you'd want to do 60. Okay, if you went to 280, you want to do 70. Okay, or just change your font because we gave you all kinds of sizes and you can italicize it, you can strike them out, you can do anything you want with it. Okay, so if you want to change those fonts, it's real easy. Just simply go in, change it from Arial, change it to like an 8 or whatever you want, and it'll change it right inside the box like that. See how small it made it? Screen shouldn't be frozen. Walter, on your question, the new scripts did go out, yes. Would having background changing with power meter help? You can do that. You want to have it changed with power meter, you certainly can. Let me show that before we wrap. I'll show you how to do the power meter background if you want. Let me just load my template again. That's easier than changing everything. Oh, you're welcome, John. No problem, David. David said he's got to go. Understand that. Yeah, if you want to change with the background, for instance, I would probably change with power meter 3, then simply go to your lightning 3 indicator. You'd want to turn off your background, so you'd remove it. You'd go to lightning 3 and see where it says, let's see, where's it at? Background, display background. Change that to true. Let's see what it looks like. There's your background on power meter 3. So yeah, you can change it. And you could even change it to anything you want as far as that goes. You could change power meter to 4 if you wanted to. You could change it to 3. And you can also even tell it, hey, I don't want to be faked into some of these trades. You can even say, you know what? I want you to at least close 4 ticks or 6 ticks or something like that. In other words, I want you to be darn sure that you're really heading the direction you're doing, and you can actually change those backgrounds accordingly too. So that's what we added to Object Trader scripts. That's your font on your power meter display, your neat new trail stop on Object Trader. And just remember, when we're in the room and Charles or I say we're going to keep our stop at line 4, you'll be able to do it automatically, okay, with that particular indicator. If we then say we're going to tighten it up to line 6, then obviously you'd put your stop you just set Object Trader accordingly. If we said, this swing is at below line 6, maybe you want to do line 5. That'd be a little bit below that swing. It'd probably hold. See what I mean? So just look at your swings and you'll be able to tell which one of those lines, and each one of these lines is 6 ticks exactly away from each other. So for instance, if I didn't choose 5, I'd have to choose 4, or I'd have to choose 6. Now you can move the stop normally just by simply moving it manually anyway. But if you want it to totally trail automatically, you have to pick one of the lines. Okay? There's times when I walk away to get coffee or something like that. Let's say if I got in, I don't know, like down in here to give an example. Let's say that you got that trade. I'd put my stop at 0 while it gets into it. And then as soon as it starts trending, where I could see the trend, see it just barely touched midband there, I'd probably still put my stop underneath 5. If it quit touching midband, I'd put my stop at midband. If it quit touching 5, I'd put it at 5. If it quit touching 6, I'd put it at 6. See? It's all in how the trend is moving. And it can really tighten your stops nicely by doing that, because when this is way up at this top, this line 6 is going to keep moving with this and give you a really, really good stop. There is an offset for the line number 2. You're talking about on Lightning, Kenneth, on your question? The trail? Let me show that to you. I don't think this, I'd have to check that out to be truthful, because this offset is strictly on the normal stop for an offset, but we could definitely add that to this trail. You know, it wouldn't be that big of a deal to add it because the way it is right now, no, if it hits line 6, but keep in mind you've got a little bit of an offset anyway because you can just simply turn on exit on close. Because to give an example, if let's say that I saw line 5 was holding on this little lightning swing and I wanted to use it, if I turned on exit on close, then technically if this was to come down at all, then it should really bounce off of that swing anyway because that's your lightning swing, right? And if it doesn't, then you're going to go down to a deeper retracement anyway. Let's see. I will have to check this offset, but I don't think that this offset has anything to do with this target here. We can definitely find out. I'll check it. I'll be more than happy to check that. You know, I tell the guy how to write the scripts, but he's a very professional programmer, so who knows? He may have put something in there I don't even know about. But I really think this offset right here is for the normal stop and the break-even trigger. And I've been trying to get this one to even work here. I got to get with him on this one and find out how to even use it. Because, you know, just to get in manually, to give an example, I would think that you'd be able to offset it like, let's say, for instance, that you wanted to go ahead and just offset this by like 5 ticks or something like that. Then the moment you get into it, you should be able to, you know, go to break even. I'll have to check on that one too because I haven't even used this right here. Okay, anybody get confused at all or everybody good to go? We're trying to keep it, of course, where, you know, it's not difficult to operate this system at all, but we also want it to do some auto things for us, you know, because a trail stop is pretty nice when you're trying to trade some other charts too, when you see great trades. You know, like let's say you were taking a predictor and you just happen to have your stop way down here and forgot that you had it down here, and then the market literally retraces 35 ticks instead of trailing for you. Those trail stops are nice. All right. Thanks, everyone. Have a great evening. This will be posted, and I'll get Charles's posted from last night, too. I didn't get that done today. And remember, there's no webinar Saturday. Tomorrow is oil inventory, so we should have a great day on oil, and we'll call some great trades. Keep in mind, though, when you get to trading tomorrow, if it's choppy, be careful about boxing in above midband and things like that because you just might not get anything. But these predictors are pretty darn good in chop, okay? As we showed by getting $400 really quick. Yeah, the scripts are out. Dennis, check your email if you don't have them. Now, I won't be putting anybody's scripts on tonight, but I'll be more than happy to tomorrow after we close the room. Let's see. Adam, if you don't mind, can you execute a quick example of how you drop the website template into the path? Okay, sure. Just one sec. Let me go into my doc folder real quick. Yeah, what you do, Adam, on your question there, first off, you've just got to get to your document folder, which is right here. You know, if you've got like Windows 10 to give an example, or Windows 7, you got this little folder at the bottom. You just click on it, and that's your documents folder. So your path is documents. You open that one. Then you open NinjaTrader. Okay, let me just do that. So we'll go to NinjaTrader 7, like that. Okay, so your path now is Documents, NinjaTrader 7, and then you simply go to Templates, double click on Templates, and then Chart. And that's where all your templates are. And just simply drop it in there. So to give an example, if I wanted to save that, let's go back to our website real quick. Bear with me one second. I'll get on our website. under the member login. It's not for everybody, you know, it's just under member login. And once you get into member login, hopefully I can get to members area. There we go. All right, and then scroll down, and there's your template right there. You just simply click on it. Okay, see where it says save as? You can save that right to that path if you want to. Or you can just save it to your desktop and then just drag it to that path. To save it to that path, you just simply do save as, like so. See, I've got save as, and then you would go to documents. So I'll go to documents. And then you would go to NinjaTrader 7. See, you're doing that same path, documents, NinjaTrader 7, and then template, and then chart, okay? And then you just simply drop it in. Now, I haven't actually saved it in there just yet, so you just save as. And but what I do instead, you don't want to do it this particular way because this is a zip file. So what you really want to do is you just simply want to save it as your desktop, and then open it and then drag the folders into that document path. I'll be more than happy to show anybody on TeamViewer that needs help with that. Okay, so the path is documents, NinjaTrader 7, templates, chart. Okay, thanks everyone for coming. Hope you enjoyed it. And I tried to do my best to explain the new features in Object Trader scripts and of course how we can use them in our live trading. And keep in mind, you know, when in that room I'm talking about those ellipses, those are pretty good little trades. And look to the left to see where support is and things like that. And these work out pretty well. And then when they've run a long ways, you know, like to give an example, would you want mid-band after this much of a run? Probably not. You'd probably do something like this, wouldn't you? I wouldn't want to touch this thing until it was down here. At least 38% and possibly 50. See, that's right on top of where it broke out too. So that's the way I would diagnose that trade anyway. So see, that's going to be a phantom trade. This one's too low. Okay, so it probably won't go quite that low. It'll more than likely bounce off that one. Okay, thanks everyone again. Have a great evening. Good night.